Hello again, you glorious Goddo people. In this video, we're going to continue decorating our level. We're going to make some rigid bodies. Now, quick reminder, remember that the origin is the center of gravity. We're going to make pieces of furniture and decoration that are going to fly around the room when someone runs into them or when a piece of food hits them. And don't be afraid to tweak the weight values. We don't need everything to respond the same way. Okay, let's get into Goddo, and we've got this lovely start going on here, and we've actually got 4 spaces we can decorate, right? We've got this area here where the player is, with this nice invisible barrier. We've got this area here where the robots are. We don't want to put things in the middle here. That's just going to complicate things when the bystanders come in. But we've also got these spaces to the edge where we could, if we wanted, put some extra pieces of decor. Now, before we start making anything, there's a lot of models that we could be using. So let's take a look at our furniture. There's lots and lots and lots of things, and I'm not going to be using all of these, and I don't expect you to be using all of these, but they're there if you want them. I've also noticed that this is going to get messy very quickly, so in my furniture folder, I'm going to make a brand new folder, and I'm going to call this kitchen. I'm going to call this static. No, yeah, static. Furniture. There we go. And I'm just going to highlight all of these, right-click on them, and go Move To, and then put them in the static folder, static furniture folder. The reason I'm doing it that way is that now all of the links are guaranteed to be pointed to the right place. Incidentally, if you wanted to, you can make this metal look more metallic. That's easy enough. Just click one of these, go to the main scene, click on the mesh, find the metal material, which is right here, and you could play with the metallicity. So let's say 0.5, it's going to make it a little bit darker and more shiny. There's other things you could do if you want to get really fancy. You can play with the environment settings. We're using the default environment right now, so if I open the default environment, we could, if we wanted to, switch on SS reflections, which is screen space reflections. It is going to lead to performance impact, so be aware if you're doing that. I don't actually think it's worth it in our game, but if I change the metallic value to 0.75, for example, and then press play, we're going to start getting actual reflections on anything that's metallic. Bear in mind, the floor is also shiny. This metal is now way too shiny, but you can do it if you want. I don't think I am going to do that, so I'm going to put this back to, let's say, 0.5, and I'm going to switch it off, where is it, default environment, switch off SS reflections, mostly because it doesn't fit the aesthetic of what I'm trying to do. But if that's something you want for your game, you should absolutely do that. Absolutely do that. Ooh, hard to say. Okay, let's take a look at the models we have. So under models, under furniture, we have a bunch of things. We can double click on them and see them here. So we have this bench, we have this big sofa, which is a sofa which is big, a big table, see above. We have some cardboard boxes. They're there if you want them. We have some chairs. I will be using some chairs of some kind. We have some cushion chairs. Very fancy. We have a computer desk, which is nice. A chair with, it says handles. Those aren't handles, those are arms, but fine. A coffee table. Yeah, we could use a coffee table. Computer keyboard, computer mouse. There if you want them. Computer screen. So you can make a desk, put a bunch of computer stuff on it. You could have a food fight in an office if you want. That's entirely fine. Here's the desk you could be using. Here's a corner desk. The kitchen areas we've used. I didn't actually use the bar, did I? Don't actually want the bar on my level, but use it if you want. We have a laptop. I might put that in. An old TV, maybe. Some pillows. This could be fun. Long pillows. Small potted plants. Larger potted plants. A radio. A small table. A small sofa. Stools. Tables. A trash can, or bin, if you're English, or British rather. A vase, or vase, if you're... I actually don't know which one is British and which one's American right now. And another vasey-vasey thing. Great. I'm not going to use all of these. I'm probably not going to use most of them. But I'm going to start by making a microwave. I'm going to make a microwave. I'm going to put it in the scene, and then we can see how it looks. So let's make a brand new scene, custom node, and this is going to be a rigid body. Rigid body. Fantastic. And I'm going to bring in my microwave. Where are you, microwave? You know what? Kitchen microwave. I could just type in microwave into the search, but I'm being lazy and making things more difficult for myself. Let's move you to 000 for now. Now, remember, this is going to lead to some problems. If I were to hit this microwave with a piece of food, it's going to rotate around this corner, which is not what I want. So, I'm going to highlight the mesh, I'm going to change the scale to 0.75 on all 3 axes, and then I'm going to take snap off, and I'm going to move it so that the center of gravity, the origin, is roughly there, and that's too far forward, so let's bring you there. So I'm just moving it so that the rigid body itself is there? I feel like we're missing some materials here. Something odd happening. Oh no, it's just... okay, fine. This is how it looks. Let's give that a collision shape. Now, for this collision shape, I'm going to be using tri-mesh, not convex. And the reason I'm using tri-mesh is I actually want the food to be I actually want the food and everything else to actually follow the contours. But look where the collision is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my microwave and I'm going to go here and go copy parameters. I'm going to go to my collision shape and go paste parameters. So every parameter it can share, it will share. Let's call this microwave. Microwave, there it goes. And I'm going to save that in furniture. So save scene as. I'm already in the furniture because I haven't shut down Godot since the last video I recorded. If you're not, just go to the furniture folder and put microwave in. So let's see how that works. I'm going to bring the microwave in. So I'm going to go to furniture. I'm going to instance in microwave. 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 It's over there. It's not where I want it. Let's bring you up to somewhere up in the kitchen areas. And I think the microwave will look good right here. Now, because this is a rigid body, not a static body, it's a piece of furniture that I'm going to interact with the world, I don't really care if this is a perfect right angle. In fact, I don't want it to be. I am going to raise it up slightly so it's not clipping the surface. And before I go any further, let's just double check I've got the collision set properly. So, you are scenery. You can interact with everything. Let's press play. And here's our microwave. Now, our microwave is a little bit too light. So let's make this microwave heavier. So under mass, a mass of 1. Let's give it a mass of 10. See how that feels. Oh, that feels much better. Still a bit light, but yeah, I'm liking that. And look, it's getting in the way of the bystanders. I think that looks great. Now, one thing I do want to do before I fast forward a little bit and decorate my level, I want to show you what we could do by having multiple static bodies in one scene. So what I'm going to do is I'll make a brand new 3D scene. And I'm going to bring in this chair mesh. So to bring in my chair mesh, I'm going to add in a scene, which can be a rigid body. And I'm going to call this chair body. And let's give that a brand new mesh. So I'm just going to drag this into the scene and do the transformy dance for the mesh. So transform, bloobity bloobity bloobity, and this one actually has the origin where I want it to be, which is lovely. So let's drag this chair body up a bit. Let's give it a collision shape, so mesh, tri-mesh collision sibling, and let's make sure that it's on the right collision layer. So you are scenery, you can interact with all of the things. Great. So why am I doing it this way? Because now I'm going to create a brand new rigid body. I'm going to call this cushion. And now I'm going to do the same exact dance. So let's find a nice little cushion, pillow mesh. Yeah, pillow mesh looks good. Let's drag in pillow mesh. And I'm going to reset its transform right there. There we go. One thing you'll notice is the origin for the pillow is off. So let's just move that down to the center. There we go. And you know what? I might actually flatten it. So it's up against this chair bit here. I'm doing this by eye, which is not ideal, but I don't mind a little bit of physics quirking. How's that looking? Let's take a look at our rotation degrees. Well, it wasn't flush to begin with. That's roughly centered. Okay, let's give that a tri-mesh collision sibling. There we go. Now, all of these positions are wrong, so back to my pillow mesh, copy parameters, to my collision shape, paste parameters. And now I can take this cushion, and I'm just going to move it up. You see what I'm doing here? Now, this is probably going to be the wrong scale, so I'm going to call this cushion chair and save it in my furniture. Here's one I've just dragged into the scene, so you can see what it looks like, and it's a little bit big. However, I am now using a rigid body if I try and scale a rigid body, I'm going to start getting warnings because this is going to be interacted with in the physics engine. Changing the scale of a physics body is a bad idea. You can more or less get away with it with a static body, not a good idea with a rigid body. So instead, I need to change the mesh and then try and change the collision shape. So let's change the mesh. Let's put 0.75 in all three directions. I need to copy these parameters. So copy params and paste them. And now we can see it fits. Let's do the same thing with the chair. Going to rescale the mesh, just the mesh, not the actual physics body. Tri-mesh collision sibling. Make sure I've got the chair selected, copy parameters, and paste parameters. There we go. Now let's move the actual cushion. Make sure I've got the whole thing, not the mesh, selected to just above it. And if you wanted to, you could put a second cushion on the back. I'm putting it just above because I want the physics engine to drop it into place. And let's make sure that the collision layers are set correctly. Okay, so now if I save that and go back into the level, this is now much better. Let's move this entire cushion chair, let's say over here, and see how that works. You see that? See how the cushion just stayed in place? I like that. Okay, so the weights are wrong. I want the chair to be much heavier than the pillow. So let's take the chair. And this feels like it's probably a little bit lighter than the microwave. Now, my microwave is probably a bit light still. So I'm going to make the chair 10. I'm going to leave the cushion at, let's say, 2. Let's say 4. There we go. And the microwave, I'm going to make 15. Let's press play. Now, because it's quite heavy, and the food is pushing it, it's sliding rather than toppling, which I quite like. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause my recording, I'm going to decorate my level a little bit, and then I'm going to come back after a little bit of a clock wipe and show you what I've built. And welcome back. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a bunch of tables and chairs. I've got this nice little laptop. You'll notice, by the way, this laptop I've given a convex shape and a tri-mesh shape. There's a reason for that. If you have too many tri-mesh shapes at the same time, Godot will start skipping some of them. You're going to get unpredictable results. The laptop was falling through my table, and I realized I didn't really need to tweak too much with it to make it look good, so I just changed it to a convex shape. I could have started playing with things like margins and all the rest of it, but the simplest solution was just to make it a convex shape. I've got these plants, I've got this bin, this trash can. What else do I have? That's pretty much it. One thing I did do is make everything lighter again. I liked things flying around. So the chairs are now 3, the table is 3, the microwave is 10, and the cushions have a weight of, where are you? 1. My laptop has a weight of 2, my plant has a weight of 1, my bin has a weight of 1. So that means when I press play, and I expand the screen and make it nice and big, we have objects that react in a very exaggerated way. And I quite like that. There's a lot of chaos happening here, so maybe for you, this level is too narrow. Or maybe you don't want so many objects. Or maybe you don't like these tables, you want to change the materials. But there's a lot of customization you can do here. But I think this is a really good place to end this video. We've got a nice system in place. We can make our static bodies and our rigid bodies look good. This table is kind of too high, isn't it? But we can tweak with that pretty easily. So, excellent work, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Hello, food.